My dad disowned me for staying with my daughter in the ICU instead of planning my sister's engagement, so I broke ties with them too. My own father threatened to cut me off, financially and emotionally. His reason? I refused to abandon my critically ill daughter in the ICU. That one impossible ultimatum didn't break me, it forged me and burned every bridge I ever had. The sterile air of the children's hospital ICU clung to me, thick and cold. For 36 hours, I hadn't moved from this plastic chair, watching my little Lily fight for every breath, her chest rising and falling with the ventilator. She was 7, and just 3 days ago, she'd collapsed at school. Bacterial meningitis, the doctors said. Touch and go, they warned. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. I'd silenced it after the first dozen calls, but the screen kept lighting up like a frantic beacon. I knew who it was. My family had been calling relentlessly. I'd sent one text, Lily critical. Can't talk. Apparently, that wasn't enough. A kind, tired nurse named Grace, who I'd learned had a daughter of her own, checked Lily's vitals. You should try to eat something, she suggested softly, adjusting in 4 cafeterias on the 2nd floor. I shook my head. The thought of leaving Lily's side, even for 15 minutes, twisted my stomach. What if something happened? What if she woke up and I wasn't there? My phone lit up again. A text from my sister, Chloe. I made the mistake of looking. Mom says you need to call David immediately. This is getting ridiculous. We need you here. My jaw clenched. I flipped the phone face down, returning my gaze to Lily. Her blonde hair matted, dark circles under her eyes, so wrong on such a small face. She had my nose, and her father Ben's stubborn chin. Ben, who'd died in a car accident when Lily was 3. My parents, David and Evelyn, never approved of Ben. Said he wasn't ambitious enough. After he died, they'd swooped in, trying to control every aspect of my life and Lily's upbringing. Drowning in grief, I let them at first. Their help felt like a lifeline. It took years to realize it was actually a noose. The phone buzzed again. Then again. 7 new messages, all from family. I scrolled through them with a growing sense of unreality. Evelyn, your father is extremely upset. Chloe needs you. This is her special time. Chloe, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Do you know how stressful wedding planning is? Aunt Sarah, your mother is beside herself. Can't someone else stay with Lily? And finally, from David, call me now. I stared at that last message. David had always been a man of few words, absolute authority. His word was law. He'd built a successful commercial real estate business and expected his family to fall in line. Chloe, 2 years younger, was always his favorite, beautiful, charming. She'd married Noah Jenkins, a corporate lawyer from old money. They lived in a 4-bedroom house David helped them buy. Chloe didn't work. Noah made plenty, leaving her to yoga and elaborate parties. I'd taken a different path. After Ben died, I finished my graphic design degree and started my own business. Not glamorous, but it paid the bills and let me be there for Lily. David never understood why I insisted on working when he could support us. He saw my independence as a personal rejection. The phone rang. David's name. I let it go to voicemail. 30 seconds later, it rang again. I stepped into the hallway, not far from Lily's room. When I answered, David didn't wait. Where the hell have you been? His voice was cold, clipped. Do you have any idea what you've put your mother through? Dad, Lily is in intensive care. She has bacterial meningitis. I told you. I know what you told us, he cut me off. But Chloe's engagement party is tomorrow. We're setting up the venue in the morning. Evelyn's been planning this for months. You are supposed to be there at 8 a.m. for decorations. Chloe is frantic. I pressed my fingers against my temple. Dad, I can't leave the hospital. Lily might not make it. Do you understand what I'm saying? A pause. There are nurses and doctors there. They don't need you hovering. Your family needs you here. Something inside me cracked. Lily is my family. She's your granddaughter. Don't use that tone with me. His voice dropped to the dangerous register I remembered from childhood. You have responsibilities. Chloe has been looking forward to this party for months. All her friends will be there. Noah's family. This is important. More important than Lily's life? That's not what I said. Stop being dramatic. Lily is getting excellent care. You being there or not isn't going to change anything. But you not being here is going to ruin Chloe's event. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I'm not leaving my daughter. The silence was arctic. When David spoke again, his voice was flat, final. Then I think we need to have a serious conversation about priorities. I've been supporting you financially. You gave me a loan for my business 2 years ago. I've been paying you back every month. And I've helped with Lily's private school tuition, her medical insurance, all of it. If you can't be there for this family when it matters, then maybe I need to reconsider that support. My blood ran cold. Are you seriously threatening to cut me off because I won't leave my critically ill daughter to set up a party? I'm telling you that actions have consequences. You're being selfish. Chloe needs her sister and you're choosing to sit in a hospital where you're not even needed instead of being there for her. The anger that rose in me was white hot and clarifying. Then cut me off. Another pause. Excuse me? You heard me. If that's the choice you're giving me, leave my daughter who might die, or lose your financial support, then I choose Lily. Every single time. Cut me off. I don't care. You'll care when you can't make rent. When Lily's school bills come due. When? I'll figure it out. I've been supporting myself just fine. The business loan was almost paid off anyway, and Lily's insurance is through my business plan. You helped with extras, with private school, but we'll manage without it. You're making a huge mistake. His voice was ice. Don't come crying to me when reality hits. I won't. Goodbye, Dad. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking. I stood in the hallway, trying to process, then went back to Lily's room. Grace looked up. Everything okay? She asked gently. I sat down and took Lily's small hand. It will be. On the 5th day, Lily's fever finally broke. Antibiotics were working. On the 6th, she squeezed my hand. On the 7th, they removed the ventilator. On the 8th, she opened her eyes and rasped, "Mommy," and I burst into tears. Over the next week, my phone became a battlefield. Evelyn called, crying, begging me to apologize. The engagement party had gone on. Chloe sent hostile messages about how I'd nearly ruined her special day, the decorators used the wrong shade of pink, centerpieces were misplaced. Aunt Sarah left voicemails about how disappointed everyone was. I ignored it all. Lily grew stronger each day. 2 weeks after David's ultimatum, after Lily was home, a certified letter arrived. From his attorney. He was calling in the business loan immediately. $23,000 due in 30 days. All other financial support terminated, including private school. I sat at my kitchen table, Lily asleep in her own bed. She was weak, but alive. I looked at the letter. I had $8,000 in savings. My business covered expenses, but not a lump sum like this. This was punishment. The next morning, I called Michael Lee, an attorney from a networking group. He looked at the promissory note I brought. Actually, this is pretty clear. 5-year term at 2% interest. He can't just change the terms unilaterally. He offered to respond on my behalf. That would destroy what's left of my family relationships. I think your father already did that, Michael said kindly. You can't let him bully you. Michael sent the letter. David's attorney responded 2 weeks later. He was suing me for the full balance plus legal fees, claiming I'd missed a payment. It wasn't true, I had bank records, but he was escalating. This is going to get expensive, Michael warned. Even though we'll win, litigation costs money. I made a decision. I called Michelle, a colleague who'd wanted to partner on larger projects. I'd been hesitant, but now I had no choice. I'm in, Michelle said immediately. I've got capital. We can formalize the partnership, take on bigger clients. You're talented enough, we should have done this years ago. Within a month, we were a partnership. Michelle's $15,000 investment covered the immediate cash crunch. We landed 3 major contracts. Money started coming in. Lily transferred to public school. I dreaded telling her, worried she'd miss her friends. Instead, she shrugged, saying the kids at private school were kind of mean. She thrived, made friends, seemed happier than she'd been in years. The lawsuit dragged on for 6 months. David refused every settlement. Richard advised patience, he's spending more than the loan is worth. But David wasn't rational. This was about control. The family closed ranks. Chloe posted engagement party photos, captioned, surrounded by people who actually show up when it matters. I blocked her. I blocked Evelyn too, after a long email about breaking David's heart. Aunt Sarah got the same treatment after showing up at my house to lecture me. The isolation was hard. But every night, tucking Lily into bed, hearing her laugh, I knew I'd made the right choice. 8 months after the ICU, our business had grown substantially. We paid off legal fees, started saving for Lily's college. Life was harder, but it was ours. The lawsuit finally went to court for a motion hearing. It took 20 minutes for the judge to review the note, my payments, and dismiss David's case with prejudice. He ordered David to pay my legal fees, about $12,000. I never heard from him again. No apology, just silence. 10 months after Lily got sick, a wedding invitation arrived. Chloe and Noah. Formal, expensive, gold lettering. A handwritten note from Evelyn, please come. Let's put this behind us. Chloe would love to have her sister there. I stared at it. A part of me, the lonely part that missed holiday dinners, wanted to go. But then I remembered that phone call in the hospital hallway. David saying Lily's life mattered less than party decorations. The lawsuit. The cruelty. I threw the invitation in the trash. Lily was doing great, thriving without my father's money or approval. I emailed Evelyn, I won't be attending. I hope Chloe has a beautiful wedding. Her response came within an hour, accusations, hurt feelings. Family is supposed to forgive and move on. I didn't respond. They still didn't understand this wasn't about grudges. It was about a father who valued a party over his granddaughter's life. Some things, you don't come back from. The business continued growing. By the second year, we had 5 employees, an office downtown. Lily had her own desk there for homework. She turned 9, healthy and vibrant. I dated occasionally, but my energy went into Lily and the business. We had dinner with Michelle's family regularly. Lily called Michelle Aunt Michelle and adored her husband and kids. Ava was still her best friend. We built our own family, chosen rather than born. Sometimes I'd see David and Evelyn at community events. Our town wasn't that big. They'd look away. Once I ran into Chloe at the grocery store. Pregnant, glowing. She saw me and her face went cold. Lily looks well, she said, nodding toward Lily comparing cereal boxes. Public school must be fine for some people. The dig was obvious. I just smiled. She's thriving. Thank you for asking. Chloe's mouth tightened. You're not the only one who suffered. You tore this family apart. No, I said calmly. I chose my daughter over a party. Dad tore the family apart when he decided that was unforgivable. You're so self-righteous. Her voice was bitter. You always thought you were better than us. I never thought that. I just thought my daughter's life was more important than your decorations. Apparently, that was controversial. She left without another word. Lily came over. Can we get this one? It has marshmallows. I looked at my daughter, healthy, happy, oblivious. Sure, baby. 3 years after the ICU, another letter from David. Not an attorney, just his handwriting. Lily was 10 now. The business was stable enough to consider buying a house. I almost threw the letter away, but curiosity won. It wasn't an apology. It was an announcement. Evelyn had cancer. Stage 3, treatable, but serious. Brief, factual. A phone number. I sat with it for days. Lily asked what was wrong. I told her Grandma Evelyn was sick. She had vague memories of them. Should we visit her? Lily asked. You always tell me family is important. Out of the mouths of children. I'd taught her about love and forgiveness. Now she reflected it back. I called the number. David answered. It's me, I said. Silence. Your mother would like to see you. Not I'd like to see you. Just a statement. How is she doing? She starts chemotherapy next week. Prognosis is good, but it'll be rough. More silence. The conversation felt like walking on broken glass. Can I visit her? I asked. This weekend? Saturday afternoon. Come alone. I'm bringing Lily. She's your granddaughter, and she wants to see her grandmother. Fine. He hung up. Saturday, I drove to their house. Lily was nervous, picking her nails. The house looked the same. Chloe's SUV was there. Evelyn answered, looking frail. Her face when she saw Lily was complicated, joy, guilt. Lily, she breathed. You've gotten so tall. Hi, Grandma. We went inside. The house smelled familiar. Chloe was in the living room with her 2-year-old son, Leo. She stiffened. Mom didn't tell me you were coming. Surprise, I said flatly. David appeared. Older, more gray. He barely glanced at me before focusing on Lily. Lily, you look healthy. I am healthy, Lily said with a child's blunt honesty. I almost died, but Mom saved me. The room went silent. Evelyn's eyes filled. We know, sweetheart, she said softly. We're so glad you're okay. The visit was awkward. Stilted conversation in the formal living room. Evelyn asked about Lily's school, hobbies. Lily answered politely, sensing the tension. Chloe shot me hostile looks. After an hour, I made our excuses. Evelyn walked us to the door. Thank you for coming. Can you visit again? I'd like to see Emma, to see both of you. I looked at her. Sick, scared, lonely. But she'd stood by as David sued me. She'd sent guilt-laden emails. She'd chosen sides. I'll think about it, I said. Lily was quiet on the drive home. They're different than I remember. How so? Cold, I guess. Are you sad? A little, but mostly I'm okay. I like our life better, Lily said. With Aunt Michelle and Ava and our apartment. It feels warmer. Yeah, baby. Me, too. I did visit Evelyn a few more times as she went through treatment. Sometimes with Lily, sometimes alone. David was usually absent. Chloe never warmed up. Evelyn tried to rebuild something, asking about the business, complimenting Lily. But she never apologized. None of them did. They thought time would heal, that I should just move on. But I couldn't forget the ICU, David's words, the lawsuit. They wanted reconciliation without accountability. After Evelyn finished treatment, the visits became less frequent. The crisis was over. We drifted back into separation, a conscious choice this time. I heard through Aunt Sarah's Facebook, before I blocked her, that Chloe had a second child, Ruby. Lily turned 11, starting 5th grade. She joined an art club, discovered watercolors. Ava was still her closest friend. Then Lily turned 12, started middle school. The business opened a second office. I started dating Daniel, a kind teacher. Life moved forward. One day, a Facebook message from Olivia, a cousin I hadn't spoken to in years. Hey, heard you got disowned for staying with your sick kid. Wanted you to know I think you're a badass. Family isn't everything, especially when family is toxic. Keep doing you. It shouldn't have meant so much, but it did. That validation from someone who understood, who saw through it, helped in ways I hadn't expected. We started talking regularly. Olivia became a friend, an ally. 5 years after the ICU, 5 years after David's ultimatum, I bought a house. 3 bedrooms, a backyard, good school district. The business did well enough that I could afford it outright. Lily, now 12, was excited about her own bathroom. Daniel had moved in, and we were talking about marriage. I didn't tell my parents. They found out through the cousin grapevine. Evelyn called. I heard you bought a house. That's wonderful, honey. Thank you. I'd love to see it sometime. We could bring a housewarming gift. I looked around my new kitchen. This was my space, my sanctuary. I didn't want their judgment. Maybe someday, I said noncommittally. You can't stay angry forever, Evelyn said, an edge of frustration. Your father made mistakes, but... Mom, I'm not angry. I'm just done. There's a difference. That's not fair. Neither was asking me to leave my dying daughter to set up a party, but here we are. She was quiet. You're never going to forgive us, are you? I don't know. Maybe forgiveness isn't the point. Maybe the point is that I've built a good life without you, and I don't need you to validate it anymore. That's cruel. No, Mom. Cruel was what Dad did. This is just honesty. I hung up gently. It felt final. Lily thrived. Middle school, good grades, great friends. She talked about becoming an artist or a doctor. Daniel and I married when Lily was 14. Small ceremony, close friends, Lily is maid of honor, Michelle and her family, Olivia from Texas. My parents weren't invited. I wondered if I'd feel guilty. I didn't. I felt peaceful. The people in that room were the ones who'd stood by me, supported Lily, chosen to be family. That mattered more than DNA. Chloe had another baby, a daughter. I knew from Aunt Sarah's Facebook before I blocked her. Chloe's children would never know their cousin Lily. That was sad, but it was reality. Some bridges, once burned, stay burned. Lily asked about my parents occasionally, less as she got older. By high school, they were just abstract figures. She had her own life. The business grew. Every success felt like proof David was wrong. I didn't need his money or approval. I'd done it myself. On the 10-year anniversary of Lily's ICU stay, she was 17, applying to colleges. We went out to dinner to celebrate her health, her survival. Daniel, Michelle, and Ava were there. "Mom," Lily said over dessert, "I never thanked you properly for what you did." "What do you mean, honey?" "For choosing me. I know it cost you a lot. Your family, money, everything. But you never wavered. You stayed with me." My eyes burned. "That wasn't a choice, baby. That was just love." "I know, but I'm old enough now to understand what you gave up. And I want you to know it mattered. It made me who I am." "You would have been incredible no matter what," I said. "But I'm glad I got to be there to see it." We toasted. To survival, to choices that matter, to love that shows up when it counts. Later that night, I sat in my backyard. Daniel came out. "You okay?" "Yeah, just thinking about the last 10 years. How different everything is." "Better different?" I thought about David's threat. How certain he'd been I'd crumble. About proving him wrong. About Lily's smile tonight. "So much better," I said. My phone buzzed. An unknown number. "This is Chloe. I'm getting divorced. Could really use my sister right now." I stared. A part of me, remembering childhood, wanted to respond. But I remembered everything else too. I deleted the message without responding. Maybe that made me cold. Maybe unforgiving. But it also made me honest. Some doors, once closed, should stay closed. Lily got into her first choice college with a partial scholarship. She wanted to study biomedical engineering. "Because of what happened to me," she explained. "I want other kids to have a chance like I did." The day we dropped her off, I cried the whole drive home. Daniel held my hand. That night, the house felt too quiet. My phone rang. Evelyn's number. I let it ring. She left a voicemail. "I know you probably won't call back, but I heard about Lily going to college. I'm proud of her and I'm proud of you, even if I never said it. You were a good mother, better than I was." It wasn't an apology. Not enough. But it was something. I saved the voicemail. I didn't call back. Years passed. Lily came home for holidays, brought friends, boyfriends. The business kept growing. Daniel and I traveled, built a life that felt full and complete. Sometimes I'd drive past my parents' house. The lawn still perfect. Chloe's SUV off in there. She'd moved back after her divorce. Life had humbled her. I never stopped, never felt the pull to reconcile. People thought I was bitter, but I wasn't. I was clear about what I needed and what I didn't. I needed people who showed up. Who understood love meant sacrifice, not ultimatums. Who chose a child in ICU over party decorations every single time. My parents weren't those people. That was sad, but it was okay. I grieved the family I'd wanted. Now, I lived with the family I'd chosen instead. Lily graduated college with honors. Got a job at a research hospital, started dating a fellow engineer named Ethan. She was happy. I don't remember much about being in the ICU, she told me over lunch, but I remember waking up and you were there. You were always there. Always, I confirmed. That's what mattered, she said simply. That's what made everything else okay. 10 years after that ultimatum, Lily got engaged. Ethan was wonderful. They wanted a small wedding. Your side will be pretty small, Lily said apologetically. Since you don't talk to your parents or Chloe. My side will be exactly the right size, I corrected. Michelle and her family, Olivia, our friends, Daniel's family. That's not small. That's perfect. She smiled. Do you wish you knew them? I asked carefully. Your grandparents? Your aunt? Lily considered. Sometimes I'm curious. But mostly, I'm just grateful for what we have. You taught me that family isn't about obligation. It's about choice. And I choose the people who choose me back. The wedding was beautiful. Lily walked down the aisle with Daniel and me. She glowed. The ceremony was full of love. Everyone there genuinely wanted to celebrate. No one was there out of duty or guilt. During her speech, Lily thanked Daniel for being the father figure she needed. She thanked me for everything. My mom once told me she'd choose me every single time, Lily said, her voice steady. She proved it when I was 7 and sick. She's proved it every day since. That's the kind of parent I hope to be someday. That's the kind of person I try to be. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. After the wedding, after Lily and Ethan left for their honeymoon, I checked my phone. A message from Chloe. Saw photos of Lily's wedding on Olivia's Facebook. She looked beautiful. I missed a lot, didn't I? I typed and deleted several responses, finally settling on, yes, you did. She wrote back, Dad's still angry. Mom wishes things were different. I think I do too sometimes. Then you all know where to find me. But I'm not apologizing for choosing my daughter. If that's still a problem, then there's nothing to discuss. No response. I didn't expect one. Lily and Ethan bought a house. Started talking about kids. My business partner, Michelle, retired. I brought in younger partners. The company evolved, thrived. Daniel and I hit our 20-year anniversary. Lily had 2 kids, my grandchildren, who'd never know their great-grandparents. That didn't feel like a loss anymore. It felt like reality, the natural consequence of choices made long ago. Sometimes people asked if I regretted the estrangement, if I wished I'd tried harder. The answer was always no. I'd made the only choice I could live with, and I built a beautiful life from it. Lily's daughter, Ava, was 7, the same age Lily had been in the ICU, when she fell off her bike and broke her arm. Lily called me, frantic, from the emergency room. I dropped everything and drove straight there. It wasn't life-threatening, but Lily was shaken. I kept thinking about when I was sick, she said, holding Ava close. About you staying with me. Now I understand it differently, as a mother. It's different when it's your child, I agreed. You gave up everything for me. No, I corrected gently. I gave up people who didn't deserve me. There's a difference. Ava got a purple cast and a lollipop. We settled her on the couch with movies and ice cream. Lily sat beside me, watching Ava with that fierce maternal love. Thank you, Lily said quietly, for everything. For teaching me what matters. You would have figured it out anyway. You're too smart not to. Maybe, but I'm glad I had you to show me. That evening, after Lily and her family went home, I sat in my quiet house. Daniel was at a conference. My phone had one new voicemail. Evelyn. I hadn't heard from her in over a year. I know you won't call back, her voice said, tired and old. I just wanted you to know your father had a stroke. He's stable, but it's serious. I thought you should know. Not because I expect anything, just because you should know. I listened 3 times. Tried to feel something. Sadness, guilt, worry. Mostly, I just felt distant, like hearing about a stranger's misfortune. Sympathetic in an abstract way, but not personally affected. I didn't call back. I sent a card. Simple, polite. That felt like enough. Lily didn't push when I said no to visiting. David recovered, though weakened. Chloe moved in to help care for him and Evelyn. They were all living together again, the family unit I'd been excluded from. That was fine. They'd made their choices. I'd made mine. The business eventually sold. I retired comfortably. Daniel and I bought a modest beach condo. Lily's kids called us every week. This was the life I built from that moment in the hospital hallway when David issued his ultimatum. This was what choosing Lily had created. Not just survival, but flourishing. People still sometimes said I should reconcile with my parents. That I'd regret it when they died. Maybe they were right. But I'd also feel peace, knowing I'd lived according to my values. Knowing I'd chosen the people who chose me back. Knowing I'd built something real and good from the wreckage of that broken family. Lily's son, Sam, who was 10, asked me once why he didn't have great-grandparents like his friends. It's complicated, I told him. Sometimes families break apart. It's sad, but it happens. Were they mean to you? They made choices I couldn't accept. And I made choices they couldn't accept. Neither of us would budge. But you were right, he said with a child's certainty. Grandma Lily told me. You stayed with her when she was sick and your dad got mad. That's crazy. Of course you stayed with her. Of course, I agreed. He hugged me. I'm glad you stayed with Grandma Lily. Otherwise, she might have died and then Mom wouldn't be here and then I wouldn't be here. Me, too, buddy. Me, too. Looking back across the decades, from that fluorescent-lit hospital room to this beach condo filled with family photos and children's laughter, I knew I'd do it all exactly the same. Every hard choice, every burned bridge, every moment of standing alone, because those choices had led here. To this life. To these people who showed up when it mattered. David's ultimatum had been meant to break me. Instead, it freed me. It showed me exactly who they were, and exactly who I needed to be. I chose Lily. I chose myself. I chose a future built on love, not obligation. That choice echoed through everything that came after, opening doors I hadn't known existed. The door to my parents' house had closed, but so many other, better doors had opened instead. Doors that led to authenticity and fierce, unconditional love. I walked through those doors and never looked back. That wasn't cruelty. That was survival. That was wisdom. That was choosing life over obligation, love over control, freedom over fear. Lily lived. She thrived. She became extraordinary. And I got to witness all of it. Got to be there for every moment, because I'd refused to leave her side for anything or anyone. That was worth everything I'd lost. Worth every single consequence of that one simple choice. What would you have done?